Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Monday live stream. It's a pretty good day, pretty great day, pretty green day. And the question then becomes, how far can we go? And if we take a look at it, it looks like there is some bullishness definitely in the market today. And we can see that Bitcoin is rapidly approaching 69,000, almost 70,000. I think it could actually reach that today, depending on the suitability of the markets and just how bullish the bulls actually are. And we can see that over the last 24 hours, we've had a pretty good run here. And then actually the last 7 days has been a fantastic run. And most of that is because of, let's be honest, Bitcoin ETFs and the inflows, which we'll get to pretty soon. But there's it's not just Bitcoin that's doing pretty good. I mean, just looking at the top five, we can see that over 7 days, Solana is crushing it, 23% in just 7 days. But that's not even the big winner as far as altcoins. And if we kind of scroll down, there's this little project. Not Uniswap, which is almost up 10%, which is looking pretty good. But if we scroll down here just a little bit, Arweave, 21.6%. That's pretty good. But look at this guy, Phantom. Who here owns Phantom, and who here knows about Phantom? I personally don't own it. But I know that there was some rumblings and some information that just came out about how they are working on the blockchain. Transactions per second looking to exceed 2,000 with a sub-second finality. And there's a new way they're doing it as far as with DAG. So we'll see how it works out. But a 40% increase in 1 week, that's looking pretty good for not just that, but for altcoins in general. And we have to take a look at, of course, why this is happening. There's more buyers and sellers. That's really what it comes down to. On top of that, I'm just kidding. On top of that, we've also seen that the Bitcoin ETF had a pretty massive amount of inflows as of last week. And when you see this is from CoinShares, and I don't really like to see just on the daily. If you go to, there's a great website. It's called heyapollo.com, and you can see the total Bitcoin ETF inflows and outflows. And I don't know if you guys know this, but today is the third highest day as far as total net inflows. And we're sitting at 220.9 or 220,000 Bitcoin as far as positive. And going back, we can see that there wasn't very many. Of course, we're coming over here, 2.7, 16.3. We're not seeing anything negative per se, but like this right here, 220.9, it's the third highest net inflows. The only time that we've seen a higher net inflow was around April, I want to say April 11th, 220.2, 20.8, 221.6. April 11th, I think April 5th. 221.9. So besides those two dates, today is the third largest, or excuse me, May 17th was the third largest. And we'll see how it actually works out today. And from what I'm seeing, it looks pretty positive for the ETF. So if you want to know like what the sentiment is, it looks like it's pretty bullish. But remember, bullish sentiment doesn't last forever. But before we get on to some, I don't know if it's bad news, it's just medium news, I would say, is also on top of that, there was a piece that caught my attention. And it's not just always about like the sentiment and of course inflows and altcoins and things like that. This is also a pretty reasonable indicator. I remember when I first got in 2017 and came in 2018, 2019, 2020, you could see that the Coinbase app became like the number one or number two finance app on Apple and Android. I don't think it ever hit number one, but I could be wrong. Check me in the comments section. But I found it interesting today that on iPhone, the number one app is Google. It's just, of course, Google is Google, right? Then Google Chrome, top free apps. And number three is Phantom. Now, Phantom, yes, it's not just the Solana wallet. You can use that for Ethereum. You can use that for Bitcoin and some other different large cap cryptos. But most people are using Phantom for the Solana trades, getting in and out of meme coins and swapping. And to see that number three, I can kind of see the correlation then between that and then, of course, the price of Solana itself. So we'll see how well it works, but Solana is doing pretty darn good for the last year or so. I can remember, I think we were at $20, $30, somewhere around there. And now, of course, let's just see, actually, I forget. Solana, over 1 year is up, almost 800%. So congratulations to Solana holders. I've got a small bag myself. So this looks very bullish. Everybody's happy, and that's great. But I got to tell you, if you're looking for the most bullish, it comes down to this. There was 3 happenings going on this week that I thought could be a pretty big catalyst. One was HR 109, which of course has already gone through the House of Representatives here and in the Senate, of course in Congress, which are both branches there. And now it's going to the president's desk to sign. He's got 10 days. The last day is next Tuesday because it excludes Sundays. The other one, of course, is the Ethereum ETF. Will it get disapproved or approved this week? If it does, I imagine everything to go higher. But this one, I think, is the unsung hero of what is going on in regulation. And if this goes through, I find this to be extremely bullish. It's called the 21st Century FIT Act, or FIT 21. And the bill is expected to be voted on this week in the House of Representatives. This would take away essentially the SEC from overseeing digital assets and put that into the hands of the CFTC, which, let's be honest, they're a little bit more even-handed than, say, Gary Gensler. And if this can go through the House of Representatives, and it's going to happen this week, I want to say it's either Wednesday or Thursday. If this can get approved, it'll probably go through Senate, and then we'll see if the Biden administration actually signs it. That will be enormous. And the reason why I think it is because Gary Gensler is a horrible, horrible individual for innovation, and he's stifling crypto and digital assets. And there was this post that I saw a couple of days ago, and it fits in today perfectly. This is Christian Catalini, and he is from MIT. Matter of fact, he's the co-founder and chief strategy officer at Lightspark, founder of MIT Crypto Economics Lab, and previously co-creator of Diem, which would be Facebook's crypto digital asset project. And he was around when Gary Gensler was teaching at MIT. I just found this fascinating because he comes out and says, he goes, look, when I was at MIT and Gary Gensler came around, he stopped by my office a few times. And since I was possibly the only professor at MIT deeply interested in crypto back then, I thought he had a genuine interest in learning about the tech and how it could improve finance, which makes it's pretty reasonable. And everybody got fooled, even myself. When he came in, I go, this is awesome. There's this guy, Gary Gensler, coming to the SEC. He taught at MIT. He understands about Bitcoin and Ethereum and even XRP. He's talked about this many times. So it's going to be pretty good. But here's where it falls apart, the things that I didn't know. Christian says, I was surprised back then. I'm still surprised to this day by how firm his conviction was about what constitutes a security versus not at a time where he did not know much about crypto or blockchain at all. Let me say that one more time. I was surprised, even to this day, by how firm his conviction was about what constitutes a security when he didn't really know what was going on as far as crypto or blockchain at all, because Christian was essentially head of that department, and he went in there for advice and probably some information, and he was just blown away like, this guy thinks everything's a security, and nothing has changed. So if we can get this FIT 21 and the CFTC to oversee crypto and digital assets, I think that's a massive step in the right direction, not just for investors, but for America to lead the charge and not get left behind as all the great crypto companies and digital asset people just move away, because America is becoming a cesspool, and it's being led by the behemoth that is Gary Gensler at the helm of the SEC and screwing everything up. That's just my opinion. Let me know what you think about that in the comment section. I could be wrong. And then lastly, before we get into a little Q&A, I just wanted to come about and say, yeah, I know that everything's green today. So people are saying, hey, should I take some profits? And inevitably, there's always that in the comment section. So we did a video, I've talked about this many times, about when I'm selling 80% of my crypto, because we have to be we have to be proactive instead of reactive, right? It's time to put a plan in place. If you haven't done one, probably a good idea to think about that now. Maybe you don't want to sell anything. That's cool. This is not for you. But if I take a look at some of my indicators, especially like this is looking at bitcoin.com is a free website. You can find a link in the description. When we take a look at the net unrealized profit and losses, and this is subtracting the realized value from the market value. And the unrealized profit and loss estimates the total paper profits, losses in Bitcoin held by investors, and of course, when it's last moved. We can see that we actually peaked up around March, which would have been a great time to sell at 73,000. And then as it dropped down to under 60, but right now we're just barely here. So no, doesn't look like it. Also, the pi cycle top, when the 350-day moving average times 2 crosses the 111-day moving average, that's a great time. This was created in 2019. It nailed it in 2017 and 2013. Did a pretty reasonable job actually in 2021. And right now they're actually moving a little bit farther away. So no. Also, we take a look at the historical risk levels. And of course, there's a video on risk levels. I think I have in the description. But we can see that this is, of course, I'm stealing from Ben's site. We're looking at 0.640. I don't really get out of bed until we're looking at 0.8 and to 0.9. So no, not a time to sell. And of course, the market value versus relative value, and then take that all the noise out with the Z-score. Green is a good time to buy. Red's a good time to sell. Right here, not so much. So to answer everybody's question, for me, not a great time to sell. But of course, everybody's different. That's why nobody can give you financial advice, because they don't know your current situation. And lastly, speaking of your current situation, there's been these, I'm getting kind of concerned. I kind of feel like we're kind of going where we were back in 2020. Amazing how things, just tend to have cycles. 2021. And I've seen a lot of things of people talking about, you don't need to ever sell anything. What you need to do is do this thing, which would be to take out loans against your Bitcoin or against your altcoins. And to do that, this is why it's done. It's because there's a term used by the super rich, or actually just the well-to-do people. I mean, not everybody does it, but a lot of people do it. It's called buy, borrow, die. And I want to go over this real quick. It's going to take like a couple minutes. And what this is, and you're going to hear this a lot, so I want you to hear it, at least here first. So buy, borrow, die is very simple. When you got a lot of money, you just take loans, and you take more loans. And when you want to pay it back, you take even more loans. And of course, you're buying assets across the way. You borrow against that, you get a loan, and then you just keep doing that until you die. This is actually put out pretty well. There was a video, and I narrated it. So just take a listen to this. This is a minute long to make you really understand how Jeff Bezos does it. And it's relatively simple to get, but I just want everybody to understand, because it's going to play into the next piece. Take a listen to this. Hey, Jeff Bezos. You make $8 million an hour, but you pay $0 in taxes. What the fuck? Well, I don't make any money. What? Yeah, okay, look. The $8 million you're talking about isn't my income. That's an increase of the Amazon shares I own. Yeah, but you still made a profit. You got to pay taxes on that. Nope. As long as I don't sell my stocks, I don't have to pay anything. Well, you're going to have to sell it eventually. How are you going to get money then? Whenever I need money, I go to the bank and I take out a huge loan. And since debt is tax-free, I don't have to pay anything. No taxes on that. Well, how are you going to pay off that loan then? I'll take it out an even larger loan to pay off the previous loan. And how are you going to pay the bigger loan then? I'll take out a loan even larger than that one. Do the same thing. Wait, you're going to keep doing that? Till when? Until I die. So you won't ever pay taxes in your entire life. How do the banks allow this if they know you're going to keep taking out loans? Well, the banks get their interest paid back from the loans, and I get to save billions in taxes. So it's really a win-win situation. Yeah. So I hope that made sense. So that's essentially what the super rich do, and you're going to hear a lot about that coming up. People are going to talk about you don't need to sell anything. And again, I can't give you advice. Maybe you never want to sell. Maybe you're like, I'm just doing this for my kids or my grandkids. I'm never going to sell, and that's it. And of course, if you're like Michael Saylor, why would you sell? Well, we talked about this many times. You just put that as a proxy for your company, a MicroStrategy, and then you take that out for the assets that actually accumulate, which would be your stocks, and you just sell your stocks, or you take a bunch of loans out. It doesn't matter. But when you do stuff like that, just know that when you take a loan out and you want to do that, which is fine, there's a couple of problems with that. First of all, there's the Voyagers, the Celsius, the FTX, the BlockFi. Let's get that out of the way, right? I am never going to do this. I'm never going to do this again. I'm too shell-shocked to do it. So if you want to find out about it, there's plenty of other YouTubers that are going to talk about this. But just be aware that if you do take out a loan, the money that you have with that you take that money out, you're going to have to, at some point, put that into a vehicle, which is revenue generation. That could be your business, that could be real estate, that could be land, that could be bonds, I guess, if you want to do it that way. But it's some way you have to have a revenue generation in some way, shape, or form. Also, they're not going to tell you, and they should tell you, is that when you do this and you want to use your Bitcoin for that, or your Solana or your Ethereum or something like that, there's a thing called a margin call. And when you do that, you have to make sure, because at some point, nothing goes up forever. And that's where everything got screwed up, because the Voyagers, the Celsius, the FTXs, they're going to margin call you at some point. And whatever the new company is, they're going to say, look, you had one Bitcoin, that's all you have, and you took money out against it, and now it's going down and it's worth like, 25% less. You need to recollateralize, or else we're going to liquidate you. So all those tax benefits that you thought you had, if they liquidate you, are all gone, because they liquidate you, and guess what? That's a taxable event. So again, there's a lot of nuances to it. It could work. And the big thing, of course, is not your keys, not your crypto. Now, there's other companies that are coming up, and they're going to say, no, we're going to do a multi-sig wallet. What that means is that we're going to have a signature. These other two proxies are going to have a signature, and you're going to have a signature. And we can't do anything with this until we all come to a consensus. So we can't sell your Bitcoin. We can't rehypothecate it and everything else like that. So I just want to say that that could be an option. It's out there, but me personally, I'm not doing it. I've already got screwed over, too shell-shocked, I guess PTSD, and that's it. Anyhow, just want to bring that to everybody's attention. Thanks so much for stopping by. If you like today's video, give it a thumbs up. Consider subscribing. Everything we talk about is time sensitive. Now, if you want to stick around and do a little Q&A, we'll do that, and we'll go from there. If you got to take off. Thanks for being here. I appreciate you. Now let's get into a little Q&A. Let's see. Let me go to the very top. I always forget everybody. Whoops. Sorry. Wrong button. Hello, everyone. Shaolin. Mark's here. Toby's here. Logistics. Danny Garcia is here. Don't complain, bro. If I don't complain, I have nothing to talk about. Now, things are pretty good, actually. Life is good. Life is real good. I mean, look, there's a lot of other people that have it way worse than us. Am I right? Phantom is the best hot wallet. MetaMask sucks. I can't disagree with that. Not a fan of MetaMask. Not a fan. Tim Lund says, out of all the S coins, Solana will crash the hardest. Tim could be correct. I'm not for sure. Hopefully, we're all checking indicators and to see if it's going to crash or if it's just going to keep going up forever. Remember, super cycle. Remember that word. You're going to hear it a lot. I don't know. Meme's here. Hello, Meme. Let's see. Lending USD on Solend. Building up switchboard points while I decide what to put into it. And yeah, my Phantom Validator double signed. I forgot to spread out my betting. What are we going to do? So again, there's this is why Jarrett, he can do whatever he wants to. If he wants to do that, I have no problems. I'm not anybody's dad here, so of course you can do all the things you want to do. Heck, you could even, I don't know, buy meme coins like I do and gamble a little bit. It's not going to be the end of the world unless you put your entire life savings into it. Bob has a good point. Gensler can't let the peasants be wealthy. I don't know if he's... Do you guys feel protected? I just don't feel that protected by Gensler. I feel protected because I've made a ton of mistakes and I learned from those, and I'm not going to hopefully duplicate them. That's where the protection comes from, myself. I don't really feel like Gensler's out there for me. Maybe I'm just being silly. Maybe he really is there for me. Mohammed's got a great point. Yeah, Mohammed, taking profit short term. I like that. Nothing wrong with that. I thought Gensler was out. It would be nice, but no. Have a plan to take profits or have a seat during the bear. That's very adequately stated by Ben's chair. Yeah, that's a good one. My top indicator hasn't triggered yet. Rob is still streaming. Yeah, once I step off this channel and once we go to these massive bull run areas, everybody knows I step down from this channel. I don't come back until the bear, which is it's a funny thing because it's like the exact opposite of what you see a lot of people on YouTube do. They just disappear in the bear, which is pretty smart if you think about it, because you don't get that many views in the bear market. You get a boatload in the bull, but nobody needs you in the bull. It's just noise. And then of course everybody's right in the bull market. Bro, did you see that 500x coin that I talked about? Yeah, it's trash. But yeah. JR Token says it right. You don't pay taxes on loan disbursements. It's true. And also, I don't know if you knew this, but everybody who has a mortgage, everybody who has business loans, something like that, depending, it is a tax deduction for the interest on those loans. Pretty nice, right? So something to take a look at. Theta. Yeah, but Jeff Bezos' kids will get that debt too. We'll see. I think there's other loopholes that get them out of that. But you're going to pay a little bit. It's true. It's Ben. Mashinsky-itis. I'm going to have to steal that. It's pretty good. Or Dog Strive, yeah. Shark Puncher, have you tried the Coinbase mobile wallet yet? Nope. I know everybody says it's the best. I don't really need it right now. I mean, I've got over 80 different cryptos spread across. Mostly they're in my Tangent cold storage wallet. But there's some like Theta, which are still being staked. And there's other stuff like World Mobile Token, which I'm a node operator. So that's in NAMI. But really, if I really need something, I'll probably go that route. But I just don't really need something. I'm kind of just accumulating now. I've gotten all the risky stuff just sitting there. I don't really want to go that much more risky. Yeah, it was good. Dumb Money. That's the story of Roaring Kitty and AMC and how that all came about, and GameStop. It's called Dumb Money. It's on Netflix. Check it out. Hey, I got a question for everybody. What is the market doing for GameStop? Because somebody said it was like a big pump and dump after Roaring Kitty. Holy smokes. So remember, everybody, there was that tweet from Roaring Kitty, I don't know, last week. I'm going to guess it was Friday, May 10th. I take that back. That's not bad. 4 days, it rallied, and then it came down. Hey, you had 4 days to capitalize. Actually, no, you had 3 days, because the 14th was the top. If you bought the top, you're pretty much hurting right now. Huh. Sorry. And AMC, I think, is the same way. Rob, do you hold SNEC? I do. In my NAMI wallet, matter of fact. Yeah. That's a good one. No. The bank says, hey, I'm a first time live. Welcome. Have you looked into the upcoming real world asset chain Red Belly? Has 78 billion assets on being on chain to bring on chain? No, but it'll probably do great in the bull market. Probably do great. It's a great narrative to be there. Real world assets. If you can put AI or real world assets or DPIN behind something, it's going to do well. Evil Knievel had a super cycle. Yeah, look what happened to him. Most of the times it worked out. Some of the times he broke every bone in his body, but that was very rare. Maybe. It could be. I've been a lot of places. Who is paying Gensler off? I'm not for sure, but remember, Gary was the deciding vote for the Bitcoin ETF. There's 5 governors of the SEC. That's what they're called. And Hester Pierce is one of them. Gary Gensler, of course, is the head, or is the chair. And during the vote, there's 3, not to be political, but there's 3 Democrats, part of the SEC, and there's 2 Republicans. Hester Pierce is one of those, and Gary's a Democrat. And the 2 Democrats voted against the ETF, and 2 Republicans voted for the Bitcoin ETF, and it was up to Gary to break the tie. And if it wasn't for Gary Gensler, we wouldn't have had a Bitcoin ETF. Crazy, right? But after that, boy, he was on MSNBC and CNBC talking about how risky it was and how it was dangerous and it's a speculative asset and there's really nothing to it, but he still approved it. So I think he got stiff-armed and he didn't want to, but he did it. and then he's going to kind of go back on it. Oh, whatever. I'm just glad he listened to whoever strong-armed him. Trader Joe, that's a great DEX for Avalanche. Yeah, I agree. Fox Savage, Share Gensler, somebody taking marching orders from higher ups. We all answer to someone. Maybe. Or maybe he just is angling for another more superior position. I've heard rumblings he wants to be head of the Treasury. Take Janet Yellen's job. Yeah. Sean's got a good point. I love the bear markets. You get to accumulate and all the garbage that should be ignored goes away. You know, it's true if you can do it. See, now everybody here in the comments, everybody here right now, I do appreciate you guys because there's not a lot of tourists here yet, and they're coming, and it's going to suck. Because those are the ones that will call me Dan, not Rob, and those are the ones that will tell me all the different cryptos that are going to be awesome, and they're going to talk about super cycles and whatever else. And that may be true, but it gets really annoying. So those guys will come in the bull market and they'll leave early because they're going to be exit liquidity. And then in the bear market, all of us are going to do the same thing we've already always done. We're going to reaccumulate. And because it's difficult if you've never done it before. But I'll give you a quick parallel, which was I'm pretty good with crypto, horrible with stocks. I don't really do much with stocks, but in 2021, I felt like invincible because I was doing so well in crypto. So I bought Airbnb because we do a lot of things with short-term rentals. I thought it would do pretty well. I did Amazon because I used to have a Amazon drop shipping company, and Tesla and Coinbase. I think I bought Mara as well. And I bought it towards the top. And I was like, I never really thought about it. It was in Robinhood. And I never really thought about it in 2022, 2023. And just recently I opened it back up and I'm like right where I was before, except there's a couple of gains. And if I would have done the same thing over there, what I did in crypto, which was buy during the bear markets, dollar cost average, and just keep accumulating, I would have been up massively. But I didn't because I didn't really care too much about it. So that's a story for bear markets and how to treat them, which is just what Shalon talks about. It's an accumulation time. Yes, glad you came. I could not keep a track of 80. I don't really keep track of too many. Really what's going to happen is once we start to see those indicators hit, and the ones we talk about here a lot, usually around a month, maybe less, then you start to see the altcoins start to take off as well. And I won't time the top. I don't really need to. I just fine if I get to 60% of the top, I'll be extremely happy. When you leave, I sell just like my real dad. Nice. Brendan says, what are your thoughts on C and GITO? GITO, that's one of the DEXs for Solana. I've used that before. I actually have staked on GITO, and I've actually accumulated GITO. Now, SEI, are you talking about SEI or SWE? SWE looks pretty good as far as transaction per second. SEI, I haven't really looked too much into, but again, probably do fantastic in the bull market like everything else. So if you got those two, great. Good question. Crypto Jubilee, what's Roaring Kitty? So Roaring Kitty is the social handle for the person behind everything that was going on years ago with AMC and GameStop. They essentially did a short squeeze on hedge funds and Wall Street and really stuck it to them for a while. And that's just that person's name. May 8th or 10th or when it was, that individual, the guy, he put out one image of a guy in a chair leaning forward, and it caused that spike in GameStop and AMC. Just an image. And people are wondering if maybe he bought some stock before he put that in. But he wasn't active for like years on the socials, and then he did that. Rob's doom and gloom filling over in positive today. Hey, that doom and gloom Rob is right around the corner. I can bring him in here anytime, drop of a hat. You know things are going good if I feel bullish. If you got the same people out there going, Bitcoin's going to explode. Is it going to explode? It always explodes. Why is it so combustible? These things are so volatile. It just seems like it's going to blow up at any time. Explosions, massive explosion. I get it though. You gotta get the clicks, baby. You gotta get the clicks. Hey, Shark Puncher. Yeah. Get out of here. Have a good day. Van Gogh against nailed it. Rob, you think a Q2 correction is still coming? I sure hope so. Let me ask a question for everybody in the comment section. Does everybody feel like they've accumulated enough in crypto, whether that be whatever you hold, the Bitcoin, the Ethereum, the Solanas, the Phantom, the Tomato Coin, whatever? Do you feel like, okay, I've got too much crypto, I don't need to accumulate anymore? If it is, you're not going to like this correction. But historically speaking, depending on which cycle you're looking at, there is a little bit of a correction. And I will tell you this, there's three things. If that Law 109, that bill gets vetoed by the president, expect to see a dip. If that FIT 21 doesn't pass, dip. And the big one, which I think we all kind of know is going to happen, but I could be wrong. That Ethereum ETF, if that gets shot down, whew, down we go. And that's okay, because is the ETF, the Ethereum ETF would be great. Well, what if it does go through? Yeah. Still holding Katamoto? No. I mean, I still hold some. But remember the rules, Mohammed. You always have to do the half and half method, right? And for those of you who are like, what the hell is that? So there's these videos in the description. The blue chip types of Bitcoin or cryptos like the Bitcoins, Ethereum, Solana, stuff like that, that's the top video when you want to sell 80%. The bottom video is called the half and half method. And those videos are always in the description. The half and half method goes like this. Once your very risky degen play doubles, you take half out, and that is your initial investment. And then you wait for it to double or triple or quadruple, and you take half again. And then you wait for it to double, triple, or quadruple, and take half again. And the example we gave was Ethereum. If you would have, taken half your money out, because you never know what's going to be. If you would have taken half your money out, you would have still been up like hundreds of thousands of dollars today. Now, granted, you may have over 1 million, but how many Ethereums are out there? How many different cryptos have you guys gotten into where you're like, what the hell just happened? This was supposed to go to the moon and it didn't. That's why I always say half and half method. Need a Bitcoin mug or a Ben's chair mug? No, that means I have to pay for something and I'm very cheap. So I'll just keep this. I'll keep my coffee cup mug that I've had for over a decade. You got to work, Beardy. You got to work. A lot of code browns out there. Ben's chair and Beardy Day know what I'm talking about. Crypto tourist. Tourists don't buy EOS, Beardy. Yeah. Well, this could be the super cycle we were waiting for, man. Me and Beardy are keeping up EOS. We're propping up that next top 10 crypto. Man, Will's been here longer than I have. I've been here since 2015, not a tourist. Congratulations. That's not easy to stick around here for that long. Ooh, it's almost a decade. Yeah. Do the bear market accumulation right. Then who cares if the good news one comes out? Make enough money. Yeah, or just stick around. Robert Rice. Hey, Dan, is it tourist season yet? Well, if you keep calling me Dan, I'm going to say yeah. But no, I think the peak hasn't happened yet. Tectum, you like it? Sure. Probably do great in the bull market. My neighbor listens to you. The bull market, here we come. Yeah, the more... You know what another indicator is? Is the socials on Ben's site. Let's steal some information from him, shall we? Let's see what we can find. All right. And of course, everybody, if you like the stuff on Ben's website that isn't stolen from me, you can always sign up for it. There's a link in the description. You get like 10% off the first month. And it's good. And what's great about Ben's site is you can like find all the data that the people ram down your throat, like on the macro stuff. You can double check them. Sometimes they're wrong. Actually, I think about half the time they're wrong. They're full of it. Anyhow. Let's see. Charts. Social. Does it bleed? Twitter followers? That's not what I'm looking for. Tools, trad, macro. Where the? Hold on. Ah, thank you. Social metrics. That's what I'm looking for. I like this one too because it gives you like a summary of like where we're pretty much at, and it takes a look at like all the factors and adds them together. So total market cap risk, Bitcoin risk, logarithmic regression, things we talked about, the PO multiple, MVRV. So it just gives you everything. It just goes, look, we're not overheated yet. We're not even close. I like that. It's nice. And then what I was looking for was a social metrics. Where is this? I got to make sure I get this right. Dashboard. Okay. Genius, Rob. Let's see. YouTube views. Let's see. So it's kind of funny. This is what you want to look at because this is the social metrics. Once things start to really blow up, because look at this in 2021. BitBoy Crypto, every day was getting 630,000 views. That's crazy. Coin Bureau was 289. Holy smokes. And the peak, who had that at the peak? Yeah, BitBoy Crypto, 730,000. Cryptos Are Us, 418. Damn, George was getting more than Guy at one point, 417,000. Ben was getting 328,000. Digital Asset News bringing up the loser pack at 55,000. Just kidding. 57,000. Well, I was close. I was right around Elio Trades and Ivan on Tech. Oh no, hey, I was getting more than them. I take that back. Back then. I'm getting 65,000. Ha ha. Not anymore. Anyhow, as we come over here, as the price starts to get a little hot, I'm going to guess this is in March, and absolutely was. Altcoin Daily was getting 292. Crypto Banter, 282. Coin Bureau, 208. Digital Asset News, 50,000. Oh, and of course, I have next one. So yeah, you can just see like the social metrics. Where are we at today? We're kind of recovering. How in the heck am I getting beat by these bunch of losers? Just kidding. Anyhow, that's what we have for the socials, and we can see that we're kind of on the downward decline. So I don't really see that we're overheated whatsoever. Great place, right time. That was fascinating. Only cubic. I'm sorry, I don't really know what that is. Say it was in the Coin Bureau list. I haven't heard anything about that lately. Neither have I. Don't really know what that is. Neem, thoughts on Celestia, TIA, modular blockchain? I really should get into that. I think I have a little bit of it, but I haven't really done my due diligence. You know, if you want to really get into altcoins that are really kind of coming up, where there's like a team of people behind doing a ton of research, Guy has this club, the Coin Bureau Club. And I mean, it costs, I want to say it's like 30, 40, 50 bucks a month, something like that. But it's got everything you want to know about. And it just takes a look at all the information. And we've taken and it looks pretty good. There's a link in the description for it. It's not an affiliate link. It just goes right to it. But Celestia, they had a lot of good things to say about it. And I think that's one of the reasons why I accumulated a little bit a while ago. And I haven't really touched it because I didn't do my due diligence, because you can only do so much with somebody else, right? You have to go in there. But I know they were very favorable on that one, as well as Psy, and I think a couple other ones. So that's all I know. Yeah, it's true. Roaring Kitty caused a lot of problems for the folks in power. Did a massive short squeeze for everybody. And then everybody was complaining about it. Even Jay Clayton was on MSNBC crying about it. I was like, what a This guy shouldn't be crying about market manipulation. Him and his cronies have been market manipulating for decades. And he comes and complains about some guy who posts a picture and then all of a sudden the price goes up. And he's like, you shouldn't do that. That's market manipulation. Stop doing that with Ripple when you brought a lawsuit in your last day of the SEC. That's manipulation. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I was a little bit too hard, Jay Clayton. Just correct me in the comment section. Wick says, did I accumulate enough? No, but then I did make myself poor at the bottom of the barrel. Wick, depending on what you bought, I think you'll be handsomely rewarded. It just takes time. Unless you got into like BitConnect or something like that, and then it's not going to work out. Or Dash Assault. Gadamoto maximalist. Always a funny one. Apparently, I was Rob's Gadamoto Eggs liquidity. You're welcome. I should have sold a little bit more, but I took out enough and I was pretty happy. But I still hold. Because you never know what's going to do. Look, some of those projects, like again, they're all meme coins. They'll go up, they'll go down. It's just like I had a discussion with a friend. He's like, hey, I heard Dogecoin went up pretty high. Why did it go up? Was there like, some fundamental shift in what's going on? Was there a big partnership? I'm like, no, just more buyers and sellers. And probably somebody made a post on some random social media and then it went up. Who knows? It has nothing to do with the fact that it's going to change the world. It's just going to change a bunch of people's bank accounts. And that's pretty much it. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. How did you get a spinning fan on your green screen? So this is like, there's a place called Fiverr. I go to a place called Tenor. And Tenor is twice the cost of Fiverr, but they give me like cool stuff like this in the background. I remember way back when even I was like, who's Tenor is talking to? Yeah. Rob knows Ben's site better than Ben does. I would have to disagree. But I did create a really good, let me show you something. So on Ben's site, what I really like about it is there's this thing called the workbench right there, workbench. And what I like about the workbench is you can put any kind of indicator you want in here. And look at all these indicators. You can just overlay a ton of stuff just to find out the best stuff. And this, what I did, because I have nothing but time on my hands, I did a Pepe dominance chart since Ben always bragging about his Bitcoin dominance. I just want him to know. Let me see here. That Pepe dominance is right now at 0.161 as of 20th of May. Now, Bitcoin dominance, okay, you got me at 60%. But watch out for Pepe. But seriously, folks, you can do, let's see. This one was total, I remember this one. So I took the total market cap, which is in red. And the M2 money supply and what I was trying to show here was just like the money supply and the total market cap. And what is this one? Oh, the GSPC. So just to see, like, as we start to print more money, just how it affects, and the M2 money supply is this one. We already know this one. But just how it affects the markets themselves as money starts getting flushed into any market. It doesn't really matter whether that's crypto, digital assets, if that's precious metals, if that's traditional equities. It just keeps going up because the government does what the government does. And you can just see that over, all this stuff. What else did I do here? Oh, yeah. This was a good one. I took a look at again, you can do all this stuff on the workbench. I took a look at the M2 money supply and overlaid it with the average sales price of houses sold, which is in red, and the M2 money supply. And you can see that, of course, it's the same thing. It's not because assets are going up so much. It's because there's so much money getting flushed into the system. I just wanted to prove to myself that was what it was. And this is what I talk about. Like when people tell you these things on like traditional news, you're like, are they full of it? Let me just take a look at some data. And you can pull the data yourself and you can say, oh, okay, that is what it is. Or you can go along and agree with them. So that's why I like the site itself. Hey, my tax guy confessed to an IBIT position. Pretty nice. Hold on to that tax guy because he's the one that's going to be like, hey, you know what? I see over here that you got some airdrops, or maybe you were staking, and this is what's going on. Thankfully, I dabble into crypto myself, and this is what we should do because I keep up on it. I always, like, I have a CPA in Puerto Rico who is up on all cryptos and digital assets, Sarah, and she is great on it. So I only trust those people. I don't trust anybody else. If you're not into crypto, you're not going to do my taxes. That's for sure, because it's going to be really confusing for you. And if you right there are thinking to yourself, well, how does that work out? That website we always talk about, Coin Ledger, on the very bottom right-hand corner, it says for seek out a CPA. And you can click on those, and those guys are all, guys and gals, are all the ones that are really in depth into digital assets and know the laws. Then the cocaine hit. Cocaine's a hell of a drug. It just is. Yes. You can invest in the gaming or AI. So Illuvium, Nakamoto Games, and Playable, and Avalanche. Avalanche I've had for quite since the last bull market. I really didn't sell as much as I was supposed to, but AVAX has done a great job. So I've got a lot of AVAX. And I think there's a couple other ones I just probably forgot. Again, 80 crypto is hard to keep track of it. Didn't Ben Bitcoin make a Ben token and rip everyone off and suddenly went broke, supposedly went broke and disappeared? I don't know if he's still around. I know he's got his own channel. I mean, him and his original board of directors, I guess they split. That sucks. Which goes to, as a good reminder, if you're ever going to start a business, make sure you really know who you're getting into bed with, because I've done that a couple of times and it never works out. Thanks, Mr. Techno Goody. I appreciate that. Yeah, George's got a great channel. Cryptos Are Us. He's always there. Always there. Anyone? That's a good question. Eric asks, anyone have a different exit strategy than selling 80%? Anybody have a different strategy? Like, remember that strategy though is mostly for alts, and the 20% bag isn't because I'm going to carry those because I think that all the alts are going to change the world. I have that 20% bag because I know I won't time the top perfectly, and if it does go up another leg, I can sell the other 20%. Well, I'll probably never go out. That's not true. And then as a reminder that once you get into buying assets, doesn't matter if it's land, real estate, equities, gold, silver, any kind of precious metals, it doesn't matter. You're going to usually get into it and you're going to never really get out. You're going to sell a little bit here. You're going to buy a little bit here. Real estate is notorious for this. You get out of real estate positions. Like we sold 2 of our condos last month. And before you know it, you're like, hey, there's another deal that's coming up. And would you like? I'm like, well, that is a pretty good deal. And before you know it, you're down that path. Or you can just sit around and just hold everything. Exactly. Not all scams are memes, but all memes are scans. I don't know. I think it's a cash grab for most of them, that's for sure. Yeah. And we're talking about Jay Clayton. He definitely screwed XRP holders. Gave us a going away present. Yeah, he did. He gave you an upper decker. If you don't know what that is, you got to Google it. That's essentially what he did to you guys. Alts are ripping where? Well, let's take a look. Well, this is Solana. In the last 24 hours, it's up 7% almost. It's pretty good. Let me refresh this. Woo! Yeah, 2% Ethereum. 6% for Solana. 3% for Avalanche. 4% for, hey, 4% for Near. 6% for Fetch AI. Not bad. 3% for RA. It's not too good. 3.6 for Optimism, 12% for Phantom, 10% for Sui, 11. Need I say more? So, Matt, sometimes you got to look a little bit farther, past Ethereum for altcoins. Woo. When Pepe to 10 billion? It's a good question. But did you see that guy that put in $3,000 and now he's up 47 million or something like that on Pepe coin? Pepe coin. Yeah, Jeff says it right. When you're right, sit tight. Let the winners ride. Ooh, Marky's here. There's a project called Sharby. Now, if you really want to get into risky stuff, let me show you this one. Again, not financial advice. Degen advice? Yeah, okay. I guess that's pretty much it. Sharby. Whoops, where'd it go? Very volatile, but in 30 days, it's up 238%. Not bad. But watch out for this one. It's very risky. Market cap is 1 million. This is where like you have to take a look at the market cap. Because when you have like $60 billion as a market cap, okay, it doesn't take a lot to move. It takes a lot to move that, I should say. But if your market cap is 1 million and the 24 trading volume was 208,000, anybody can move this price. And it's just one of those things. So yeah, Sharby, watch out. Watch out because it's risky as hell. No. Just said it's a hell of a drug. Strategy is round tripping everything and trying again in 2026. Pretty good. But you'll be there. You'll be there for the next run. But yeah, try not to. If you're going to round trip anything, round trip Bitcoin. I think that's the safest bet, right? Maybe Ethereum, but some people are saying that Ethereum's going to get flipped this. Ethereum's going to get flipped this time. Okay, I've heard it before. We'll see. There's so much money, old crypto money into Ethereum. I don't know, it's going to happen. Eric says, I regret not going harder into real estate 20 years ago. Me too. Me too. We built our sports facility here in El Paso, and it's kind of far east side. And we could have put it on the main road, but we kind of put it behind in a couple acre lots. Wish I would have done a little better. But, you just do what you can do. Same thing with crypto. I'm pretty sure that everybody would have loved to gone heavy into Bitcoin during the pandemic when it was $3,000. Remember those days? Yeah. It was like for 4 days or some magical time frame in March of 2020 when Bitcoin was like 3,000. Should have went all in, right? How do you know? Let's see. RL says XRP will come into play after the big crash and the carbon credits are issued along with CBDCs. Perhaps it could happen. Anything can happen. Yes, exactly, Glenn. You know what I'm talking about. Efrain, my man, I'll be back in Puerto Rico next week. See everybody then. Maybe go to Taste the Smoke, San Juan Smokehouse. Chainlink or Render? I say both. I own both. And but Chainlink, it kind of feels like I get to this point where I accumulate for 6 months, 10 months, a year. I'm like, okay, that's enough. Let's move something somewhere else. Like Chainlink, I was buying in 2022 and 2023, and I think I got plenty of that. Render, I didn't really think I got enough, but I have enough to be happy with that. And then also when Aether comes out, another GPU AI deep in play, we'll see how that works out. I think it launches end of this month. Oh, Connecticut. See the family, I bet. Good for you. See you in San Juan. Black Cookie, you're in El Paso. I'm in El Paso right now. Which AI projects are merging? Fetch AI, Ocean Protocol, and AGIX. AGIX. And then they're going to go into one token. I think it's called ASI. Not RSI, like I said last time. I think it's ASI. But yeah, watch for that one to be big. That's why I still stuck around with Fetch AI. I was like, well, this is going to go to some other big one, so I'll just consolidate that. And when it happens, I'll let everybody know how that works out. But I have no idea how it works right now. I know there's like a couple of the tokens, whatever you have, you get 0.67 of ASI. And for one of the tokens, I think it's like 0.43 or something like that. RL says, it's terrible now that CIA left the business. No longer the 80s heyday. Probably a good thing. I think we're back to the white powder that we were talking about before. Robert says, it's good he never went away in May, Rob. Yeah, I just didn't think that, May was going to be awful. And actually, I was thinking that, well, if it does go down, I mean, I think that would be another time to remind people to accumulate, right? And we kind of saw that. 73,000 in March, April, May, now here we are, May 20th. Rob, what's your take on ICP, Internet Computer Protocol? Every time I check GitHub there was a, God dang, I always mess this up. GitHub. The GitHub repository, I forgot where I put it. Maybe it's under adoption metrics. Here we go. I don't know why it doesn't come up. Look at this. Every time I check this site, it's called CRYPTOVERSE, and it takes a look at the GitHub repository for all the different activities as far as like with devs. And every time I look this up, this is for the past 3 months, ICP is always number one. Mina, Rubik, Chainlink, Bitcoin, Cake, Sushi, Cosmos, SNT, Bitcoin Cash, really. Where is Solana? You think it'd be in here? Avalanche, Polkadex, all right. And Solana's number 30. That's weird. Isn't that weird? It's kind of weird. Especially since I've had a lot of failed transactions. It's true. And yes, I've adjusted the slippage. Don't know what's going on. But that's over a bonk reward, so I can't say it. And yeah, that's the past 3 months. So I always look at that and I kind of think to myself, well, at least they're building. I wish you could do a 1 month, but you can't. Anyhow, who knows what it'll do? It's a business, right? So like I say, like you can have a ton of great, smart people. You can really push the envelope and follow through and have a lot of advancements. You can have, your devs really work hard and make all these commits and really go great. And for some reason, it just doesn't work out, right? It's like the same example I give of like the restaurant down the street. It's fantastic food. You go there, the service is excellent, prices is reasonable. Then you go there like 2 months later, less foot traffic. What the hell's going on? And then you come back like in 3 months and it's closed down. That's weird. The place was awesome. Did everything right. And you look right across the street and there's McDonald's with the worst food, the most awful thing you can put in your body, and there's a line down the street. That's business for you. Solana sucks. It's not weird. Every time I say Solana, hey, I'll watch this. What do you guys think about between Solana and Cardano? Let me know in the comment section. If you want to really just rile everybody up, just say those two words, Solana and Cardano. Cardano or Solana, Solana or Cardano. That's why I don't do like any videos on that, because it's just either super negative or super positive one way or the other. But everybody fights in the comment section. Meme's more of a Cardano person. Yeah, here we go. ADA is trash. What is this one? Playing with fire, of course. Soul is number one. I have both. Hey, Farrar, you're okay. RL says both ADA and Soul are C coins. Look, and some people say, well, it's a big VC coin, Rob. How can you hold a VC coin called Solana? First of all, everything's a VC coin except for Bitcoin. And Cardano did a really good job, I must admit. Yeah. Let's just say most. But my thought process is this. If you think it was a VC coin, probably, I mean, it was, right? Shamath Palihapitiya from, he was on his podcast, the All In podcast. And he was pretty much making a joke about how they're going to dump it on everybody. And they pretty much did. Remember, they wrote it up from like pennies when they got in, pre-seed, seed, private round, whatever they got into. They wrote it all the way up to around November, you could say April 2021 or November 2021, whenever it was. And they slowly started to dump. And then by 2022, when FTX collapsed, they were all out. By the time Solana got to $20, all those VCs were gone. So you can't say it's a VC coin now because they did their magic, which was disgusting, which is what they usually do. If you can say, well, it's a VC coin now because they reaccumulated, it could be, I could see the point, but in all honesty, that could happen to everything that had gone down. So now I think it's on even ground, a little bit more even ground than what it was. We'll say that. And let's be honest. If you're looking at the reason why we talked about this, the reason why Solana or why Phantom is the number 3 most download app on the Apple App Store is because this is meme coin season, quite honestly. And everybody wants to trade meme coins, and they're talking about it. Go talk to anybody that isn't even in crypto. They're like, oh, yeah, memes. That's what Phantom's great for. You can swap it. You can put it in there. And, oh, yeah, it's super cheap to do. I know people will say, well, my chain does the same thing, and my chain does this. For whatever reason, that's what's going on now. That's just how it is. Yeah. Any thoughts on Ondo? Any other real-world asset play you like? I own some. I think it was mentioned by BlackRock. So Ondo, putting real assets on the blockchain, see how it all works out. I bought a little bit on Coinbase. That's where I got it. But as far as like real-world assets and putting things on, look at Chainlink. Chainlink just did a trial, which was very successful with BNY Mellon and JP Morgan. So if you want to go down the riskier road of other ones like Ondo, sure, go right ahead. But Chainlink's pretty much doing that right now. And I think it's pretty cheap. You know what we should look at? The historic risk levels. Let me see. I'm just going to bring this up. What do you think the historic risk level right now for Chainlink is? You know what's funny? I'll show you. Risk level. I'll show you real quick. This is not going to make sense to you because you haven't been to the site. It's right in the middle. It's right here. 0.5. It's only been there 17%. It's not risk off, and it's not really risk on too much. It's right in the middle. I can't give financial advice, but just taking a look at that, I want to restart my DCAing of Chainlink just because of that. No way. David Sachs held? I doubt it. But if he did, good for him. Actually, for him, that's a dumb idea. Why would he hold Solana? If he gets it for like $1 or pennies, and it went all the way up to 200, I don't know. I think Sachs is sufficiently smart to figure that out. Very smart guy. So you recommend Phantom? Oh, I didn't say that. I don't recommend much of anything these days. There's other wallets, I'll say that. Phantom is so easy, though. It really is. I've got it on my browser and on my phone, and it's pretty seamless. Just waiting for the next hack, though. That's going to happen. So a good rule of thumb, everybody, if it's a hot wallet, which Phantom is, make sure you don't keep your life savings on there, because when not if it happens, but when it happens, it'll happen. Don't want anybody crying to me. Put that in cold storage. Use a little bit. Yeah, two things. Go fall balls in, crypto. And for this, this is the last one we get out of here. Oh man, it's been over an hour. Will there be a stock crash, real estate crash, a la 2008 or worse? Go watch David Lin's channel. David Lin, David, and then L-I-N. He was formerly with Kitco News, and he has some of the best and brightest people on there. And what's great about the smartest people on there is half the people he brings on say we're going to go through a major recession or depression, and the other half that he brings on, they're like, that's not going to happen. It's going to do this, this, and this, and it's going to be bright, and it's not going to be as big of a deal as people say. Watch those, form your own judgment, and go from there. Me personally, no idea. I do think, though, lastly I'll say is I think we're way overextended for debt in America at $34 trillion, and the only way to get out of that, unfortunately, is money printing and or war. That's it for today. So everybody, thanks so much for stopping by. I appreciate you. Like today's video, thumbs up, subscribe, all that good stuff. I will see everybody tomorrow. Thank you, everybody, for stopping by. I appreciate you, and I'll see you on the next one. Adios.